Welcome to the Bible Prophecy Shop. Today we continue our exploration of the creation account in Genesis. In this video we're diving into the fascinating events of day 4, where God brings forth the lights in the sky, the sun, the moon, the stars. I'm excited to unpack this rich symbolism and meaning behind this awe-inspiring day. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any upcoming chapters in this series and beyond. Now let's jump into day 4 of creation. As we look into the Bible's account of creation, it's crucial to understand the context. In the beginning, God said, "Let there be light." The way that the universe is constructed has a very powerful, intended purpose. That purpose is to reveal God's character. It is to enlighten us as to God's eternal and all-powerful nature. Romans chapter 1, verse 20 explains, "For since the creation of the world, God's invisible qualities, his eternal power and divine nature, have been clearly seen, being understood from what has been made, so that the people are without excuse." I won't be taking the time right now to do a complete recap. The previous videos, they're there for you to review. I just wanted to go back and mention the first day because of its obvious connection to day 4, and that they both are in reference to light. Remember, we're not debating the specific measurement of time. We're looking at eras, epochs of time that are referred to as days. Some people find it contradictory that the physical light was created on day 1 and then again on day 4. So I want to quickly point out that day 4 is primarily referring to the establishment of various physical lights, more specifically as they relate to Earth. Let's begin by taking a look at day 4 in Genesis chapter 1, verses 14 through 19. "And God said, 'Let there be lights in the expanse of the sky to separate the day from the night, and let them serve as signs to mark sacred times and days and years. And let them be lights in the expanse of the sky to give light on earth.' And it was so. God made 2 great lights, the greater light to govern the day, and the lesser light to govern the night. He also made the stars. God set them in the vault of the sky to give light on the earth, to govern the day and the night, and to separate light from darkness. And God saw that it was good, and there was evening, and there was morning, the 4th day." Now we must keep in mind that the creation explanation is an extremely brief overview of events. Although I do firmly believe that science fits within the narrative, it's not the intended purpose of the narrative. Let's face it, we are on a need-to-know basis, and right now we do not need to know the specific process that took place. If God did write that book, it would be far too extensive for anyone to actually read it anyway. No. What we do need to know is how we relate to God. God is not trying to confuse us. On the contrary, he's trying to get us to focus on what's really important. And what that is God's relationship to mankind. Day 1, God begins to reveal himself through the power and beauty of physical creation and the creation of physical light. Day 4, God establishes the lights in the expanse above and around the land and sea to give light and to establish seasons on earth. When we look at the 1,000 years is as a day prophecy and compare this to the 4,000-year epoch of human history, we see that Jesus enters the scene at approximately that time. John 8:12 says, "When Jesus spoke again to the people, he said, 'I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life.'" If those that follow Jesus have the light of life, as Jesus said, then they too become lights in this world. Through faith in Jesus, we become sons of Abraham by faith. God promised Abraham that his descendants would become as numerous as the stars. Philippians chapter 2, verses 14 through 16 tells us, "Do everything without grumbling or arguing, so that you may become blameless and pure, children of God, without fault, in a warped and crooked generation. Then you will shine among them like stars in the skies, as you hold firmly to the word of life. When Jesus is present, his light will overcome everything. His light will chase away the shadows and the darkness. While he is away, his stars will shine in the darkness. We also see in the Genesis account that the stars are to mark seasons and sacred times. We are commanded to keep the feasts and festivals of God forever. We see that in Exodus chapter 12 and Leviticus chapter 23. First, these festivals are to be kept as a remembrance of a prophetic promise for the future. And then, after their fulfillment, they are to be kept as a remembrance and a celebration of that fulfillment. In both ways, they will provide an occasion to reflect on the eternal nature of God and his power, as well as his eternal love and devotion to his people. Daniel 12, verse 3 says, "Those who are wise will shine like the brightness of the heavens, and those who lead many to righteousness like the stars forever and ever." The establishment of stars on day 4 is nothing short of breathtaking. In Psalm 147, the Bible mentions that God named each star individually, underscoring his intimate knowledge and care for every detail of his creation. Revelations 2:17 says, "To the one who is victorious, I will give some of the hidden manna. I will also give that person a white stone with a new name written on it, known only to the one who receives it." The moon was set in the sky to govern the night by reflecting the glorious light of the sun, and also to mark the seasons and times. The moon is a symbolic reminder of God's people. Today, we refer to them as the true church. This body of people is and has always been all of those who have faith in God's grace to save, those who were born Jews and those who are not. The only difference between the Old Testament and the New Testament people of God is that God's followers moved from a symbolic sacrificial system to the fulfillment of that system with the actual sacrifice provided by the Messiah, the Christ. When we look at the moon as a metaphor for believers, we see a large body whose place is to reflect God's light in a time of darkness, while the true light is temporarily away. Just as the moon has no light of its own, we too derive our spiritual illumination from the source of all light, God himself. The moon is a reflective light that shows us the true light is always alive and well, and ready to shine on it. The phases of the moon keep times and seasons and also remind us of how throughout human history, God's people have waxed and waned in the strength of their devotion to God. When the moon is dark, the night is very dark indeed. When the moon shines at its brightest, the predators of the night more actively seek to devour the weak. So always seek to build your spiritual strength, my friends. In Isaiah 49:15-16, God says of all his people, "I will not forget you. See, I have written your name on the palms of my hands." Now, some might wonder how the biblical account aligns with scientific understanding. It's essential to remember that the Bible is not a scientific textbook. It's a spiritual guide to reconciliation with God. Many scientists, believers, find harmony between faith and science, viewing the creation story as not only scientifically viable, but also as an eloquent testimony of God's eternal and creative power. Ultimately, however, its main theme is his relationship with us. Remember, the beauty and significance of the sun, the moon, and the stars. Each element in creation points to his majesty, the majesty of our Creator, and his eternal promises. And most importantly, each one is a physical reminder of the arrangement of spiritual light in this world and to mankind. If you were blessed by this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with others, and please leave a comment. You'll find the link to the next video, Day 5, Creatures of the Air and Sea, right here. Till next time, may the wonders of God's creation always be bringing you closer to Him. Thank you for joining me in exploring the days of creation and their prophetic symbolism. Until next time, go forth and be blessed.